Good day, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I have the pleasure of being with Mr. Jim McNeil today, who is the Department Chair of Machine Tool Technology. Thank you for providing us this program overview, Mr. Jim.
Hi.
To get us started, will you mind sharing a little bit about what machine tool actually is and what that means for students considering this as a program?
So machine tool is probably one of the least recognized program, but it's used in everyday life. Anything man-made has something to do with machine tool. So we use different types of machines to create things. So some people think of like an architect, you have a carpenter. Here in manufacturing, we have engineers that design things and we bring them to life. And some say, well, it's metal, but it's all different types of materials. And what we call subtractive machining, but we also do additive machining, which now is 3D printing. So we do both of those, but subtractive machining is mainly what we do. The different machines we use, you hear CNC, which stands for computer numeric control. We also use manual machines to machine metal or materials to a very specific high tolerance.
That is so cool. I definitely don't think as we're like holding our mouse or doing anything that we think about it needing to be made, but definitely so much made every day. And a lot here in York County. So that's cool. All right. So our first question is just how many semesters is your program? How long will it take someone to enter the field?
So we have 3 programs. We have a certificate, a diploma, and degree, and they're all stackable, as they say. The certificate being the first entry level, you can complete that in 2 semesters, as low as 2 semesters. A lot of our night students do the certificate at night, and that is arranged to run in 2 semesters starting in fall. That's 16 credit hours. And then the next one up is the diploma, which add a couple more gen ed classes, 9 credit hours in gen ed, it's English, math, and you pick psychology or economics, and then a couple more classes. That I believe is that 42 credit hours can be completed as low as 3 semesters. And then most of our students end up doing the 2-year degree, which can be done in 5 semesters with 64 credit hours.
Oh, wow. So 5 semesters would be a little less than 2 years. Is that right?
Correct.
Oh, awesome.
So some will start in the fall and they'll go a year. We go through the summer and they would finish in May.
Perfect.
All the way around and ready to go.
That's fantastic. So in just less than 2 years, where could they be working? What are the employers in the area?
So big employers, we have a lot. We have high demand. Most people in our trade, it's 100% placement, which is a good thing to ask if you're looking to change your program. What is the job availability? And ours is high. 100% placement probably in the last 3 to 4 years, and it's always been in the high 90s probably the last 10 to 15 years.
Awesome.
Big employers is Siemens, Schaeffler, Wheel Pro, Deposit Resources, Transactional, Duff Norton, Fomus, Eclipse Automation, Winbro, Steva, Delta Mold, National Machine Fabrication, just to name a few.
Wow.
These are people calling me looking for students. A lot of my students do start working in their last semester or 2 when they want to start working part-time. A lot of these companies will accommodate that so that they can start working.
Oh, amazing. That's a really good point. And there's also apprenticeships with like Schaeffler available.
Right. So Schaeffler is just one of, but they're probably the most premier because they get paid to go to school. So I've had students that start at night that are already working a job and they take the certificate at night and then they transition, they get hired into the apprenticeship program during the day. And instead of going to work during the day and go to school at night, they can take care of both in the day. Makes life a lot easier.
Definitely.
You get paid, you get your 40 hours, you get benefits, everything as a Schaeffler employee. You are a Schaeffler employee at that point.
Cool. That's so exciting. That is awesome. And I'm assuming that they have a really good starting wage in this field. What do you see as like a median starting wage for a new grad?
Starting out, I would say uh 18 to 20. I have some even started, I had some students in the 20s, mid 20s. It just depends on the employer and each situation. But what I would say in this, with anything, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. How you approach and your grades and everything, attendance, it all factors in.
Interesting. That's awesome. And do you see people having upward mobility and being able to get promotions relatively quickly if they have a strong work ethic?
Yes, and strong ethics is a key word there. That's what employers are looking for. That'll get you moving up the ladder. And that's where the 2-year degree comes in handy, maybe not so much in the beginning, but in when it comes time to get any type of promotion, or when you're up for a promotion moving up, people look at that as the degree as something to help them justify moving you up, or in even your initial wage negotiation. It's helpful.
Fantastic. All right. And what type of person do you think thrives in this field and would really enjoy it?
That's kind of a loaded question because we have all types. So typically you would say somebody that's hands-on, somebody likes to work with their hands, mechanically inclined. But we also have people that like to work on computers, like to program, do those type of things, but doesn't like to sit still, likes to be on their feet, actually creating something. There's some value to that. Making something, be part of something. Problem solving is huge, huge what we do. How to fix something. How would you go about cutting this or making this? There's not always it's a kind of a puzzle. So some people that like puzzles, hands-on, mechanically inclined, but programming, we have a lot of technology in what we do in a very vast field.
Definitely. I don't think people necessarily think about the technology approach, so I'm glad that you mentioned that. What advice would you have if a student's considering this as a career?
And this would be I would investigate it. I would set up a conversation with me or one of our instructors to walk around. I would consider it like almost like buying a house. It's very important that you investigate this. I would look through it, walk through the program. These are things that I'd rather do. I'd rather show you. I'm not trying to sell you, but I want you to understand what's involved in a day. And then my conversation may lead you to some other field or something to that effect, engineering or welding or something like that. But I'd rather you come in knowing what we do and have a better understanding. I would just say you need to investigate it and not just look on paper and say, that sounds pretty good. I mean, I'm more than open to take tours anytime. I would say, but that would be for any department chair or any department, really.
Yes, I can totally vouch for that. When my brother was considering coming here, he wanted something hands-on and he's mathematically inclined. So he wanted a challenge and to problem solve. And I took him on a tour to several departments and he definitely loved the machine tool idea and thrived and graduated in that field. So definitely take him up on that tour if you're watching and considering this program. All right. Is there a typical day on the job or what can someone expect once they're in the field?
So it depends, I guess, what your job field you go into. So like where I came from, I was what they call prototyping. So my day was where I got a job that day and I had to make that part for that one time only. So it was a lot of setup, a lot of problem solving. It was the first time we're going to run this job. And then you may be in production where you're becoming a master of running different types of parts and becoming very quick at that and running that. It just depends what you want to do. But I'd say typically your day may change before you know it, in the middle of the day, because a lot of these things are, something breaks, something happens, and then you are called upon to fix that. And you are key to any of that. In manufacturing, things break, they don't have time to order it. They need to make it. And they need maybe someone to weld it and return it or anything like that, or they machine it down to get the machine up and running.
Okay.
If you're in that type of position, so it's, if you like to be the guy or the person, I should say, for that, you're critical for that.
Awesome.
But that's just different types of jobs require different types of things. But I'd say, depending if you're production or type of job shop type, where your job could change day to day. If you like variety, that's where a lot of my students are at.
Okay. Awesome. And the last question is just is there any additional feedback or things we didn't get to touch on in our brief interview today that you'd like to share?
I would just say to investigate, like I mentioned, I think don't be afraid to ask questions that you're going to bother somebody. We are more than open to share what we do, and we're not out to sell anybody. Like I mentioned, it's just we want what's best for everybody. Not everybody's going to be a machinist, and not everybody's going to be an automotive technician. But to find the right fit for somebody, it involves a conversation and investigation.
Definitely. So we'd like to start that conversation. Come see us in the advising center. We're happy to help change your major or get you connected to Mr. McNeil here if you're interested in a tour. So thank you so much for your time today, Mr. McNeil. We really appreciate it and appreciate you students watching and learning more.
Thank you.